Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike. I hope you're having a great Friday morning. I just got off of work, rushed home, read these comics, and this is my review for the comics on 6/30, 2021, June 30th. First up, I'm going to review them in the order that I read them. No particular reason why, but I don't know. I just started with this one. So it's Marvel's The United States of Captain America. It's the origin of Aaron Fisher, and I'm gonna have to say I really like this issue. Full disclaimer: I've never really read a lot of Captain America. I know a lot about him pre MCU. I just never really read a lot. Just Captain America, and I've read Avengers and stuff like that. But when he shows up in Spider-Man, so I know the main gist of Captain America, I guess you could say. Um, but it basically starts out, and I'm just going to show y'all some art. It basically starts out with like Cap, and he's doing his whole spiel about like, you know, his version of how he sees America, and freedom kind of being a fantasy type of deal, and what the government promises, what the land of America promises are. Our problem with immigration in general, how we were founded by, a land of immigrants, and we welcomed them, asked them to come over here and buy up land, and now it's a different story. Um, it goes through, and the it's kind of just, it's a couple pages of Cap doing that. Eventually, we get to this, at the end of this story set up with Cap. I guess it's set up for people that don't know Cap and presently where he is. But right here, all of a sudden, a mysterious Captain America breaks in wearing a Captain America outfit. He does manage to steal Cap's shield, and instantly Cap is on pursuit. He contacts Falcon, um, and they chase. They follow him through the city. Eventually, they find out that, not only is this guy like super fast, he's faster than Cap, and Cap on a motorcycle, and he's faster than Falcon because Falcon's having trouble keeping up with him. But eventually, the guy's leading up to a train. The guy's trying to mess up the train. He does end up derailing it, but Cap ends up kind of saving it a little bit. But this is our first run-in with Aaron Fisher, and he is the Captain America of the railways, and he's basically like a train hopper, and he protects the homeless and gay community, and he is a gay individual himself, a gay man. He meets up with Cap and Falcon right here, and to him it's a big honor, getting to speak to two different Captain Americas. He does end up taking damage. He ends up getting shot. Cap ends up kind of saving him, and he gets shot in the arm. Cap and Falcon, they end up like, I'll show you that. But Cap and Falcon, they end up like, getting his wounds tended to, and then after that, Aaron Fisher kind of gives him the slip, and he disappears. He does mention that there's other Captain America out there. This Aaron Fisher tells him, hey, you didn't know about the other Captain America? And Cap and Falcon are like, other Captain America? And that's kind of what this comic is. It kind of leads you to believe that there's going to be, like, every issue is going to be about a different Captain America. That's kind of the first story, and there's a side story, and it's all about Aaron Fisher and how he literally became, it's his origin story, and the art was just amazing in this part. The art in the beginning story was okay, but the art in this one was really, really good. The second story, and it's just basically his origin story of him becoming this Captain America of the railways in his first outing. But overall, I gave it like an A+. It was a great read. I can't wait to read the second one. It's setting up a female Captain America, it looks like. Yeah. Next up, a first for me. I've never read Usagi Yojimbo. But this is number one. This is the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy by Stan Sakai. I will say I do love that cover. I was happy to pick up that cover. I've always wanted to read Usagi, but every time it's like I gain that interest, it's always like at a higher number, and I'm not a big fan of trying to piece together what the heck is going on. I can't say it's got a negative from me. I really love the cover, and I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of that art, and I've always been a fan of how he looks right here. In the, that's like 20 or 30 years old right there, right? This book, the art wasn't so great. I want to say half the book, it was decent, and I understand. And I'll show you. It to me, it was a little too cartoony to what I've seen in this world. And like I said, I've never read an issue, but the story, for most part, it was okay. It's about a I don't e- it's I don't even know what I would call her, but it's about an apprentice to a lord, and she's alerted to like a master that's collecting Ronin, and he's trying to attack the known government at the time, and so she's tracked down to gain evidence. This is the samurai lord or whatever that's trying to attack the government. This pig guy, and she does find out that they are. She goes all ninja-like, and she does go through and find out that he is making guns and bullets and stuff. She ends up barely escaping. She ends up using the help of some Jinsu samurai that she ended up using to help get in there. At the same time, we meet this rhino guy, and he's a bounty hunter that's tracking somebody. I don't think he reveals who. Eventually, we do see this pig lord guy on the run, and we find out that he's pretty badass in his own right because he has a bounty on his head. We do finally get to see Yojimbo, and that part didn't disappoint. I mean, the art right there was really good. Everything else was kind of like, I want to say it's like middle ground, even right here, and if the camera zooms in right, but her on the horse. I mean, it's not bad art, but it's just not. I was kind of expecting a little more, and I'll kind of show you why. I mean, and there's good panels, like this guy with the rhino. I thought that was a really good pan. But I mean, look at the next cover. I mean, that's the art that I thought was going to be in the book, but I guess it's just the covers. The story didn't disappoint at all. It seems like it's going to be a really good story. That's kind of the main gist of the story. It's just Usagi Yojimbo's after the people that have eventually kidnapped this girl, but he's after her eventually. I guess they're friends. See, I don't really know that. Y'all gonna have to fill me in on that. But Usagi Yojimbo Dragon Bellow Conspiracy #1. I'm gonna give it like a B plus. It wasn't horrible. The art wasn't bad. It's just I thought it was gonna be a little bit better, I guess. Next up, Image Comics Made in Korea #2. Man, this was a great read. I love the story. It is about, I'm kind of going to put it in basic terms, but it's about like an android that this guy has created. He had to put it into this programming, he had to put it into an android as quick as he could because he found this like magical algorithm where supposedly it's like the closest thing you can get from machine to a living thing. Maybe like he created the digital version of a soul. But he does eventually put that algorithm into this little girl here, and I can't remember her name, but the android gets sent to a family in Texas, and that's where we're picking up, because literally the first comic was like her first day with this family. At the end of the first issue, the worker was getting called in by the bosses, and it was going to look like he was going to get in trouble because he was doing that on company time, and he didn't want them to find out. We do find out that he's able to get past that situation, and basically he's on his way to Texas to track down the android because he believes that it's his obligation to be the father of this creation that he created. In the background, we have the parents and the android is what I'm going to call her. No offense to her because she is amazing. She's gone through that first night and read all the books in the house. the parents have decided to take her to mom's job, and she works at a library. I will say I love the art in this book. Yeah, it might not be for everybody, but it's just, it goes with the comic so well, and it's so fun to read. I think the parents have actually tricked her because they couldn't figure out how to go, because she doesn't sleep, and thinking outside the box. I think they actually rigged like a fake charger to her bed to explain, hey, you need to recharge your battery, just like mommy and daddy. We got to go to sleep so we can, recharge. It's not talked about, but I think it's just a clever like thing that we would do to try and trick the robot. It does go through where the designer of the android is on his way to America, and he's gotten a little funding to do so. At the same time, the parents the next day, she wants to enroll in school, and they're trying to grant her as best parent wishes as they can. So they think it's a good idea too, so they look into it. The school is kind of on board with it. She just has to pass a little equivalence test, and of course she does. We do go into the guy landing in America, and he's having issues because he speaks like Korean and Chinese, Mandarin, but he's not fluent in English. So he gets here and he's having a lot of delays in that area. We do see that the girl, is finally allowed to go to school, and she's having first day blues as far as she wants friends and she's not really fitting in. She's giving that kind of robotic feel. I don't even think it's explained that all the kids knew that she was a robot, but you kind of get the situation that they know she's a proxy or robot. We do see the guy like showing up at their house, and the parents are at least a little smart. They don't believe his story and ask for credentials. They send him away. Eventually she does get to this moment where for some odd reason the guy is trying to take the little girl, and at the same moment some kids from our class manage to be for some reason driving a car, because I thought she was in like elementary, but they're driving a car, and she manages to get away before he's able to kidnap her, and they go to this little like secret location in the woods, and it's kind of like her first friends or whatever. And basically that there is a spoiler after that, and I want you to read this comic because it is good. It's good in a different way. It's not action or a lot of comedy. It's more good in a real world, get you thinking type thing. But made in Korea, issue number 2. Next up we got Red Room issue number 2. Now I got this here. This was the first issue, and quick breakdown. It is now I'll let it focus on that a little bit. This is a FOC cover that I was able to snag. I loved it. I mean, I'm a dumbass. I do know who Ed Piskor is. Ed Piskor is the author of Hip Hop Family Tree. I have never been granted the ability to read that book, and I always wanted to. It's on like a lot of people's top graphic novels to read, or I've never seen it in the wild. Evil's not big on internet buying, so maybe one day. But Ed Piskor, right? I'm getting to read this one. The first issue was really good. It's one of my top rated comics that have come out. It is in your face and different. This one, there's no nudity. The first one had a little bit. This one's just more, if you can't tell, just straight up violence and gore. It is about a dark web, a dark web chat room, where it's basically like 2 or 3 organizations that are competing. They are the people making these videos, these ultimate gore fest where they're, in the dark web, and they're killing people for a profit. We do find out in the first issue that the one organization, the Mistresses organization, this mighty fine lady right here on the cover, I don't know if y'all can see because of the glare, but she's like right there. But her organization, they grow the people kind of, where they inbred people and raise them from kids. This one focuses on another organization that entails Poker Face in this story, we kind of get a backstory of how they get some of their people, and without going into too many spoilers, I'm just going to show you some random art, because, I mean, it is a black and white comic. The art is just amazing. The story was really good. The background story of the guy they obtained to do this video is really good. Them leading up to finally, we finally get some poker face action, and then this is poker face, overall, it was just really good. When it finally did get to poker face, it was right there in your face, kind of, it's bloody and gory. It's just a real good time. For those who, I mean, there's no nudity, no sex, none of that. It's not about that. It's about, people making videos kind of like this, but instead of talking about comics, they're killing people in some form or fashion, and they're making money off of it, cryptocurrency. So Red Room number 2, I give it like an A triple plus. Get rid of that. And I'll give you one that isn't from this week, but I did buy it this week, and that is Karmen number 1. And man, I think Simple Simon, man, it was so good. I'm so glad he recommended it. I'm so glad I bought it, even though I'm not a big fan of blank sketched, covers. But it was such a great read. It's basically like people will compare it maybe to like Sandman or something like that, but it's basically a personification of like death or something like that is Karmen. And she does state her name in the issue. We do this is the where most of the main story takes place, is this panel here. And it's basically this backstory on this girl and this guy growing up together. Cisco, I think, is the boy's name, and the girl's name is Catalina, I think. And it's just them growing up together, and they eventually are friends growing up. Eventually they start dating. Cisco is not the most trustworthy of her suitors, but for some reason she has stayed with him over the years. And we do get to a spot where, in the story right here, where Cisco is caught maybe for the last time, and it seems Catalina has had enough, because this gets us to our part right here. But we do get the introduction of Karmen, and as we see her, she's walking through this old lady. It took me a couple times to read that panel to get that she was walking through her. But yep, she's walked through there, and then we get the crazy bathroom scene. And there, spoiler warning, there is a lot of nudity in this book. It's not sex nudity, but it's just nudity. I'm not going to reveal too much because I don't want to do this 18 or older. But yeah, right here, and I'm just going to show off some of the art. But it's just, basically we get here, and it's this conversation between Catalina and Karmen. And Carmen's really trying to convey the point that the girl, I mean, she committed suicide. She killed herself over that guy Cisco. And now it is Karmen trying to, get her to understand that she is passed on to another place, another plane of existence. And the girl's not quite grasping it. And Carmen's trying to lay it down in layman's terms. I don't think, but the art is just phenomenal. I mean, the anatomy that's in this book is spot on. Probably some of the better anatomy I've seen in comics, and it's not just like looking at the body. I mean, Karmen herself, even though she's got the black and white with the skeletons, even the shadow outline of how her body should be. And it alters because she is this personification of death. But in the gist, that's basically what Karmen is trying to convey to Catalina. She drops some Matrix references. There's a Jim Henson Muppets Christmas Carol reference. Hey, is it like this? Is it like this? It's a great read, man. If y'all have not read Karmen, now I got to go find issues 2, 3, 4. I think I've only seen issues number 1, this one, and number 4. So I got to find issue number 2 because it was so good. But basically, at the end, Karmen kind of lets her, be in this other place. She does learn that No one can see her, no one can hear her. She can't really interact with anybody. If she is touched by anybody, all of a sudden she will see their deepest, darkest secrets. So it's something she has hinted not to do. There are some other books that I did pick up that I have not read yet. I will show you them because I will do them in a stuff that I'm kind of behind on, but that's why I haven't included them. But it is Beta Ray number 4. It did drop this week, but I have not read number 3, so I'm going to read both of them probably right after this and get to that. Another one is Witch Blood 3 and 4. I need to read number 3 before I get to number 4. And last but not least, Infinity Frontier Secret Files. I'm going to do this in a specific all by itself just because it is a fat book, and I have not read it yet, but these fat books take a long time to read and usually a long time to review. But all that's coming. I do not forget about this stuff. I do read everything I pick up, and if you watch my videos, it's a lot of stuff. But these are just my reviews. I cannot talk about this week. The wins of this week was Karmen, Red Room, Made in Korea, and by far Barbaric. Oh my god, I went back and read Barbaric again. It was so good. But that's my reviews. I'm sorry they're a little long. They are a lot of books. I try and include a little bit of everything. I will say that I did run through the Marvel preview book, and man, there's some exciting stuff that I myself see buying in the future from Marvel. As well as I looked at the DC Connect, and there's some very interesting stuff coming up from DC, the Fear State, but the invasion of the symbiote thing with Ravage and Carnage and Riot. Yeah, but there's some interesting stuff coming up. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Y'all have an evil night. I will be back probably shortly with another video with this stuff. Y'all have a good one. Don't really do anything evil, but you know what I mean. Be evil. Y'all have a good one.